At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
Tonight on the Ospreys Eerie, we have a look back at the under-20s result versus England, talk through the St Helens update, and look forward to the Connacht game this weekend. Stay tuned.
This is the Ospreys Eerie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I'm joined by Nick, Josh, and Grant as always. How are we doing, gents?
Good, thank you.
Good. Cheers. Better now. Better now. The sun is shining. We've got a game to look forward to on Saturday.
Well, I don't know what sun Nick's seeing. He might be on another planet, given how blue he is. But can't say it was
not the man in black.
particularly sunny. It's a particularly sunny weekend with some particularly horrible things happening. So let's get straight into the news, shall we? Let's start off with, I don't know if it happened before or after the last time we had a pod, but Sam Parry is re-signed for next season and going forward, which is, I think, a great piece of news that assures, I think, all of our Welsh internationals in the squad have re-signed this year, which is obviously a great piece of news. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, agreed. As you say, I'm glad we've kind of announced the Welsh internationals first. Really sets the tone, and hopefully it should lead to more signings following. I think we're going for the Ospreys try record fairly soon. So, yeah, no, brilliant re-signing. I think he's a cracking player, Sam Parris. I think it's been a shame he hasn't had more opportunities at Wales, but yeah, it's been brilliant for us.
It's nice to re-sign your fourth top try scorer of all time. Nice to keep that sort of level of consistency on. Great servant to the club and continues to be a good servant to Wales whenever they need him to hold some tackle pads, clearly. In other re-signing news, Ryan Combeer has re-signed for the next season, which... What do you think, Rick? What do you make of that?
I think it's really good news. He deserving a contract. I don't know if it's for 1 or 2 years, but he showed enough, didn't he, before he picked up a little bit of a knock. That he's certainly a URC standard player, and it gives us more options out wide, possibly where we needed a little bit of strength in depth. So yeah, great all round, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's on 3 tries in 5 games for the Ospreys so far, which is a pretty good strike rate, and you can't really complain about for a winger when his work around the park is also fairly consistent.
Yeah, he's been great for us, isn't he, so far? And I definitely recommend having a look at the interview we did with him in the Riverside Bar. So if you head over to the Osprey Supporters Club website, there's he's quite blunt about how he left the Scarlets and how he joined us.
I think
follow that up afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds like a decent listen.
Yeah, that sounds juicy, to be fair.
In other news, BBC News has reported that Ross Moriarty has been signed by the Ospreys, which is we wouldn't normally report on rumors like this if it's not been confirmed. If it's not, but the Beeb don't normally like to go about posting speculation. I think, is it a signing we really need? One, considering our depth of options at back row at the moment.
I know Tipperick is retiring, or wants to retire.
He's not retiring.
But again, you look at the choices we got in the back row, and you would have thought that there must be other areas we really need to strengthen for next season before the back row. He's a proven international. He's can be a bit of a penalty machine on his day as well. But yeah, it's been rumoured for a while, isn't it? And for the BBC to report it, sounds like it's a done deal.
Yeah, I think what we will be losing with Tipperick is that experience, and I suppose that's what he brings. We've got players like we've got quite a few hybrid players, haven't we? Like Will Griff, when he, and obviously James Ratty. Maybe we're thinking about playing them more second rows in the future, which would free up a back row position. So I can sort of see some logic behind it. And I personally like a big six who's a bit nasty and gives you a bit of grunt. And in all fairness to him, if you speak to the Dragons fans, they always say he never left anything on the field. He always gave 100%. Can go over the top. Sometimes one would hope he's a couple of years older now. He's got a little bit more maturity, but there again, he is a Moriarty.
I I don't know. I enjoy seeing Ross Moriarty get into fights every now and then. I think it was against Dragons against the Scarlets where he managed to get Calaphony to just punch him straight up, which is a great laugh. But also, if you're getting red cards out of oppositions, it's only a good thing to have in your team, I think. Especially if you can wind the player up, get in their head. James Lowe-esque in that regard.
Yeah, there's also a good clip of him putting, I think it was Nicolas Sanchez, the Argentinian, telling him head off.
Lost it in time, you that. Yeah, I wanted it.
It's nice to have another bastard to join our ever long list of bastards who are big and can play six. To be honest,
I just the only one thing I would add is I think I'm hopeful that Morgan Morris is going to sign a new contract because I would like number 8 position next to be shared between the two Morgans. I don't, obviously great if Ross is there and can offer that as well, which of course he can. But I would see him more as a blindside flanker, really. So I do hope that doesn't mean that Morgan Morris might be moving on.
I think he's been playing six a lot for Breathe. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right there. Yeah, he's been playing. He hasn't been playing that much at 8. No.
So I imagine we're hopefully signing him as a 6.
Yeah, definitely.
It should be.
And he's still only 30. He's
really
31 in April. So he's certainly got two.
He's got another.
Fit. He's got another 2-3 years, definitely at the highest standard.
It felt like when he joined the Dragons, he was like 30 already.
Yeah.
Just in my head. Yeah. Didn't make sense. Anyway, moving on. Some good news. It looks like Phil Cocknessinger has returned to full training after being spotted when a joint training session this week in Gloucester, which I think is only good news. It's nice to have more options in the centre back, especially now that Owen Watkin is out for 6 to 9 months. It'd be nice to see if he can get some game time ahead of Keith. I mean, I'm personally quite excited to see a centre combination of Cocknessinger and Naifalevu just lining up against you, trying to run down your 10 channel.
It's amazing timing when you look at the fact that we've suddenly got those two available, and you got Boshoff and Keith playing out this skin at the moment as well. Great. Yeah, and that's minus Owen. It's a great position to be in. It's the first time we've been there in forever in terms of that when you sent real good quality centres.
Yeah, I don't because I've not watched a lot with him at Leicester. I just like to see a bit more of him to form a proper opinion. He's certainly got the physical attributes to look very. He looks very good. So, yeah, I just really look forward to seeing him back on the field, as I'm sure he is.
Let's hope he can put a bit of not necessarily run of games, but just a little bit of form together. see what he's truly made of. Because it'd be nice to be able to keep him on next season. If he does hit a nice vein of form, doesn't mean we have to go searching for another Keith backup.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's it for all the Ospreys related news this week, at least. I don't think we want to touch on any of the Wales related news. It's all just quite sad and unappealing. Let's move on to Friday night then. Well, on Friday night at the Cardiff Arms Park, home of the Cardiff Blues, Wales under 20s managed to beat the England under 20s 23 points to 13, which result. Awesome result, it must be said. Any thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, I watched it. It was absolutely phenomenal. I thought the defense was sort of the element that blew me away. You kind of saw the teams run out, and you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, these English guys are enormous," and the Welsh boys weren't the biggest, but the heart they showed was incredible. We just seem to be producing multiple sevens. If you look at Harry Beddle, I thought he was awesome. Little Nuggety 7, absolute class. Yeah, so many top performances. I thought it was funny that England's 2 best players under 20s are both Welsh.
Yeah, no, that was great.
So if we get those back, that'd be nice. But yeah, no, unbelievable result. Really good.
It was. It looked like the atmosphere was so much better in the Arms Park compared to the Principality on Saturday, and it's certainly made a difference. Special shout out to Dan Mine, who got a pretty rough yellow card at the start of the first half, sort of inevitable coming, and then put on a shift and then started fighting England players at the end.
Yeah, did you see him screaming at Kane James at the end? I don't know what he was saying, but you can only imagine. Yeah.
Something. You left Wales for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Richie as well, Richie Pugh on the coaching team. Yeah, obviously he's only part of it, but when I did the interview, he was talking about how they're trying to improve the structures at that level, and we're starting to see first green shoots maybe from the under 20s performances this season, and I think the under 18s weirdly played Scotland in Newcastle on Sunday, and they won as well. So this idea that there isn't any talent in Wales, I think, can be challenged.
Yeah, I think there's a marked difference. You can tell the difference this year compared to in previous years. I know Mark Jones did a great job when he took over, but you can see the impact they've had already, and they've got quite a young under 20 side. Quite a lot of the boys are only just come up from the 18s, so they'll have another year.
They're missing some of the bigger names in that 20 side. Obviously missing Morgan Morse. I'm pretty sure Max Page is also still eligible for the 20s. And you're still getting a result without arguably 2 world beaters in the making. Is great result.
Yeah. I'd love to see more to that level again. He'd be absolutely tearing up at this point, I think.
At that level, letting him play.
I want to see him, Sam Pollock, and Freddie Douglas from Scotland all play in the 20s World Cup, because I think they're all so similar and that they're just so abrasive, big moment back row players. And somehow I think Morse tops a lot in the way he's stepped up so convincingly.
100%. Unfortunately, I think Morse might see himself in Japan in the summer.
I think he'd be eating sushi.
Yeah.
I don't think that's quite unfortunately. I think that's just a good thing.
It's a great thing for Wales, yeah. I might enjoy watching him a little bit more.
Going back to the under 20s, though, okay, they won with heart and guts and stamina, didn't they? Because England threw everything they could at them, and England started making mistake after mistake after mistake, and when they weren't getting it. So it was real, there's a little bit about physical conditioning and skills, and the physical conditioning got them through the game, didn't it? They kept on going and going. That was really good to see, as Josh said, against a massive England, or relatively massive England side.
Yeah.
That England team was bloody huge, right? I think all the boys should be proud, and I hope they had a good night out Friday night in Cardiff. To us, deserve it if nothing else. let's move on then, and let's have a look at some of the community results that we've had in the weeks gone by. It's not been too many because of the international break, but I imagine there's been a few, Nick.
Yeah, there were a few games at the weekend. Oil Crew 19, Resolving 7. I think that was in West Central. Unfortunately, Swansea University haven't had the best season this year. Lost heavily, and I think of the last match of the regular season up at Loughborough, 52-7. National Championship West, Garwetson 10, Llanelli Wanderers 29. Great win for Bonamai. Overcame the sort of the big team in the Premiership. I think it was 33-31 against Pontypridd, which was a heck of a win. League One West, Whitland 14, Loch 20. League One West Central, Ystrad Gunlight 8, Bridgend Athletic 37. And then the Swansea District Division B, Skewin 26, I think will be resolving seconds 29, close game. And in the last bit of the Super Rugby Cymru Cup, Swansea 19, Ebervale 33, and Bridgend 49, Rugby Gogledd Cymru, RDC 42. So that sounds an exciting game. Yeah, so that's it really for the regional the regional local games at the weekend.
Plenty of exciting rugby considering it's an international break. Shame against playing that Swansea Uni. Loughborough are a very good side. I think they won Bucks or they finished top of Bucks Super Rugby this year, which is a rough one to end on, to be fair. I think now, if you're still listening for at this point and enjoying what you're listening to, feel free to like the pod on YouTube or rate it 5 stars on the platform you do use. Any sort of this interaction really helps us and the pod and the Rat family as a whole. Remember to click subscribe as well if you're enjoying what you're listening to. Let's move on then to something a bit more local still. There's been a few rumours going about what's happening at St Helens coming up next year. Obviously, Lance is giving an update this weekend at the Connacht game, which you're going to, aren't you, Nick?
I am, yeah.
Which will hopefully get some things confirmed. But there's been some rumours about some more of the finer details that might be worth going into. Grant, do you have some specifics?
I'm hearing rumours, and this is from people who've talked to people who went to business club meetings. So I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I'm hearing that we should be confirming the main stand on the Mumbles Road side, okay, as a permanent stand. And hopefully, okay, that will mean that there'll be facilities there for hospitality, which might, then start guessing, saying that might be freeing up one of the rooms in the main clubhouse, so that we might have an undercover area, maybe, who knows. So yeah, hopefully some positive news on the weekend. They're the rumours I've heard anyway.
Yeah, I've not heard any more. But...
Main stand on the Mumbles Road, looking over beachside would be just awesome. Jim's dying light on a Friday evening.
Do you know what? Yeah, if you want to make money at the clubhouse on outside of the rugby as well, okay, having a facility like that, makes a massive difference in there.
Yeah,
venues in the wedding season in the summer.
Yeah,
just be great. To be fair, it's something to look forward to as our season tickets and ticket memberships have gone out for booking at St Helens already. If you want to declare your interests and pre-reserve something, feel free to do it via the Osprey's website. They're all up and ready to go. I think it's best to. I know I'm looking at it despite living 4 hours away, to be fair, just to be a part of it.
Well done. Yeah, if most of the Osprey Supporters Club committee members will be in the Q&A as well, along with Nick. Okay, for those not going to the Q&A, if anyone just wants a little bit of live music, come over the Riverside. There's a great band over there, I'm sure, this weekend.
If you let me in, Grant, I'll come in afterwards.
Right. Yeah, we'll be on before and after the game. We should be interviewing players as well after the game.
I'll come over.
Can't confirm who yet.
If I can.
Yeah, cheers.
Sounds like a good night, to be fair. No one can't make it.
Yeah, just got to beat Connacht as well then.
That's the hard bit.
Let's move on to Connacht then, because we say it's a hard bit. It's not our hard bit, it's a hard bit of the players, but is it that hard bit of the players at the end of the day. We're on a decent run of form. I mean, Madej only lost under Mark Jones, still coming to Leinster. I, is there any reason why we shouldn't be winning this? Pretty comfortably at that.
Our record against them's not fantastic, but as you say, we've started 2025 really well. They haven't started 2025 too badly either. They've only lost the one game. They haven't played as many games as us in 2025, but they're always a decent team. They'll have a decent pack. They'll have a good back row, and they'll take it to us. But there's nothing there that we should be worried about in the sense that if we perform as we can do, we should be able to overcome them and perhaps relatively comfortably.
Yeah, I always think Connacht at home is so much easier than Connacht away. Connacht away at the in Galway, the wind is howling. They seem to know exactly where the ball's going to go. They play the wind perfectly. Whereas a home game in Swansea, you kind of back yourself a lot more. And they'll be missing, obviously, probably Beelum, Mac Hansen, and Bundyaki. So they're three big players for them. So, but they're similar to us. They don't lose too many to international duty, so they'll probably still have quite a lot of continuity there. But yeah, I'm quietly confident we can continue our run of form.
I'm just expecting the worst because after that I can only be cheered up by the result. So expect very little and then just walk away happy. That's my plan.
Well, I think as I said before, it's we're into the running now, and it's so tight from 3rd to 16th. It's a must-win game for us. If we've got any ambitions for the top 8, we have to win at home against Connacht.
Yeah, if you're a good team, you should be winning at home, and at the moment we look like a good team.
Yeah, definitely. I'd almost say if we can't beat Connacht at home, we probably don't deserve to make the playoffs. If I'm honest.
To be fair, winning away at Glasgow and then losing at home to Connacht feels Mickey Mouse. It feels unserious. It feels like something the Scarlets would do.
We should be able to get a decent 23. Looking at those pictures from the training session I've had in Gloucester, it looks as if we had, minus obviously the lads involved, the Welsh squad, decent. We should have decent availability. One would think Dewi would want to come off the bench again. Sam Paddy obviously needs a game. Perhaps we'll give Jack and maybe Gartom a rest. Ben Warren will be back. So, players availability wise and the team we can put out, we should be fairly strong.
I was going to say, I imagine the only 2 will be missing will be Gartom and Jack, realistically, after Wales duties. Dan will be itching for a game after seeing Anscombe and Gerrard get twatted about by England. So I imagine he just wants to come prove something, a bit between his teeth, try and take this game by the scruff of the neck. Seems custom made for him to have a blinder on it, realistically.
I also saw, did you see Adam Beard was in the photos at the Gloucester session? So he was doing scrummaging practice. So
yeah,
can't be too far away. I'm not saying this weekend, but potentially maybe one of the Scarlets. It'll be interesting to see what Mark Jones says. Hopefully they ask him for an update.
I don't know. I think Andy Fowles was having a look at him.
Yeah. Well, it's good as I say, if we could win on Saturday, and we've got some increased availability, we've got 2 massive games then against the Scarlets. So the bigger availability squad, I can possibly see some rotation maybe on the wings this weekend. Maybe give Keelan a break. And maybe give Combi a run.
I was going to say give Kasende a break. He's been
give
playing
him on the wing.
every game forever.
Yeah, and maybe Clever on the other wing. That might be something we might want to consider and hold the 2 being doing so well back maybe for the 2 Scarlet games. We'll see.
I think, that Scarlet selection is going to be really interesting to see if we go full team in both games or whether we sort of rotate one of the games and put out a stronger team in the next game.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how both sides kind of play because they'll have their Welsh players returning to play after playing for Wales. So yeah, selection is going to be really interesting.
But we've got ambition in both competitions, though, so it's tough. Some tough decisions if you're going to rotate, or we need to be smart in terms of who we rotate.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some positions were a lot more able to rotate than others. Like the back row, we can pretty much pick any one of about 10 people.
I guess as well. I quite like the idea. I was watching some highlights of an old Connacht game this afternoon, and when we had Luke Morgan and Keelan Giles on both wings, great players though they both are, they're both quite small. I do like the fact we've got Cassende now on one wing and Keelan on the other, and I think we can replicate that perhaps with Combier, and if we did play Clever or Florence on the wing, I think that's a better balance for your back three.
Yeah,
I know Matt Sherrick keeps talking about how he wants one big winger and one quick winger, and that's why you see like Mason Grady, Josh Adams, whatnot, things for bigger winger roles, and then you have Ewan Stevens, Regan Grace, whatever, fit into the nippy winger roles, and I think that's something that we can emulate quite well, and I quite like that balance it gives. As sort of, I really liked that we had Cuthbert playing it week in, week out because he fit that big winger role almost perfectly as arguably the best defensive winger in Europe at that point.
Yeah, there was a point though where we were playing North and Cuthbert one week, and then we'd be playing Luke Morgan and Keelan Giles the week after. And thinking, how does Fussell manage in terms of like game plans, in terms of how we're going to play the game when you're going from two little ones to two massive ones?
Because
so having the balance is better, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because Cassende's given us that. Where if we're in a little bit of trouble, it's not, we can stick it up, and he's so good in the air. But we've got the speedy merchants in Heel on the other side. So I totally agree. And you've got to have a plan with that. So maybe they've learned from that.
Yeah, it's worth doing a squad prediction at this point because it's still a bit up in the air, and we'd just be left with egg on the face. But what we can do is be a bit more positive and have a look at what score we're going to think it is. So, how much are we going to win by, Nick?
I think we'll win by 5 or 6. I think it'll be a tighter game than people think. Well, 6. Got 1 by 6.
I hate making commitments like this. Yeah, Ospreys win by 1. I'm not going to say any more than that. It's not what I'm hoping for, but yeah. Go on, Josh. You say it. Go on.
Just gotta hope no Connacht players are listening to this now. right on the whiteboard. Ospreys reckon they're going to win by 50. Yeah. Ospreys by. I reckon Ospreys by 10. I back us under Mark Jones. We're looking good. Our home game. Got loads of boys coming back from injury. It's looking positive for the second half of the season. Yeah, Ospreys by 10.
I was going to say, I think I was going to go for Ospreys by 9 myself. It feels like we just get a misconversion ahead and just see the game out nice and comfortably.
Almost. All being really pessimistic.
Yeah.
I'd rather be pessimistic than say we're going to win 42-0.
Again, yeah.
Again. I do want one more prediction for this game. That's something silly that's going to happen. Josh, you can start us off this time.
Oh gosh, it's a lot of pressure. Can we come back to me? I've got to think.
Nick?
Sam Barry, unfortunately, when he's going for his hat-trick try, drops the ball, which would have put him one place higher in our all-time try scorers. So you'll have to wait another week.
And then you get subbed immediately.
Yeah.
I'm predicting a 40-mile-an-hour wind. It's just going to look like we're playing in Connacht. That's a leveler.
I'm going to go for Dan Edwards getting a full house. So try, conversion, penalty, drop goal.
Nice one. And send off.
Yeah, and send off. Yeah. All in the first half.
Oh, don't say that.
I think I'm going to go for something much more meanable, where we see the return of our third top scorer on penalty try, come back for get a nice little double. I just see it happening. I think it's safe to say, though, we're all pretty optimistic about Connacht going out of it,
Oh, yeah.
which is a nice way to go into it. I think all the players are looking forward to it, at least, or you'd hope so. Let's see if the Connacht players do want it. I think that's all we have to talk about this week, unless there's anything else you boys want to bring up.
No,
I would like to commentate on some of the statements around the state of Welsh rugby in terms of where funding should be going. And you hear Sam Warburton saying, no, four regions isn't working. Yeah, four underfunded regions aren't working. And if you rewind a few years back, okay, when we were regularly competing right at the top and doing well in the World Cup, then four regions were doing quite well. But the funding was quite different. So it's not just about funding to the pro teams, okay? It's about funding school rugby structures, etc., being right. But just to make a statement like, no, we need to cut to three, and he strongly suggests this new board, I think is really unfair.
To be honest, I've started ignoring what Sam Warburton says about Welsh rugby in a general sense. I don't think he didn't make the best decisions as a player regarding Welsh rugby with the central contracts fiasco, and as a result, I don't really trust his opinion on it all. I just think it's all a lot for clicks, and I think anyone in the WRU is making that too seriously. Mind you, they're making a lot of awful decisions, as we've seen with the leaked apparent list of potential candidates for director of rugby, but it's not something that's particularly. I don't think they'd cut a region anytime soon, even after that England performance.
Well, we spent quite a time just a plug for the wrap last night discussing it. There's a lot, of considerations, and we've signed an agreement for 4 regions, 4 teams, pro teams. Let's get behind that now, and let's put this to bed and let's fund them properly. Let's give everybody a chance, and in 3-4 years' time, that may be a different conversation. But let's just support Welsh rugby now. Get yourself down watching games, and support your local team or whichever team you support.
I think that's a good note to end on. Let's get down to our local clubs this weekend and support the games we want to. In our case, I imagine a fair few of us will be going to Connacht game this weekend, and we're going to hopefully see the Ospreys throw a ball about a bit, have a good laugh, and apart from anything, let's see Grant perform afterwards.
Top it up.
Yeah, with a guitar, nothing else.
And with that, let's end it there for this week. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you, Nick, Josh, and Grant as well. It's been a pleasure. Remember to like and subscribe, and we will hopefully chat you all together next week. Bye-bye.
That was the Ospreys Hour. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.